Ready? Good morning, Rabotai. Chodesh Tov, Besiman Tov. Friday, Erev, Shabbat Kodesh, Perashat Pekudei, second day of Rosh Chodesh Adar Bet Hava Aleinu Letovah, corresponding to the 8th day of March 2019. The iTorah.com audio file presentation, the Refuah Shelema, David Menachem ben Deborah Leah, and Frida Batsivia Sveta. The live video feed for the Lighthouse Torah Project, Le'ilui Nishmat, Deborah Feiga Bat Shemuel, and Refuah Shelema of Ora Deborah Bat Rivka, among the Holim of Am Israel. Amen. As we continue in our very, very special day of Rosh Chodesh, Adar Bet, Rabbi Chaim Palachi, thank you very much, writes in the Moed Kol Hai that the Shevet, the tribe that basically runs the month of Adar, is the one and only Shevet Binyamin, the tribe of Binyamin. Now, I will explain in a moment why. The hero of Megillat Esther, besides Esther HaMalka, was Mordechai HaYehudi. Yet we call Megillat Esther, Megillat Esther. And the reason is why? Because although Mordechai was a great man and a great hero for the Jewish people, but the one who experienced great amount of danger and exposed herself in the city of Shushan was Esther HaMalka. And Esther HaMalka actually was the one that, I don't want to say the word demanded, but if you look at the end of the Megillah, Esther HaMalka requested that the Megillah should be written to serve as a memory of Am Israel for the future. So therefore, it's called Megillat Esther. The Halakha tells us that in the night and day of Purim, when we read the Megillah, we say certain verses out loud. 4 of them, according to some opinions, 5, but everybody does the basic 4s. The first pasuk that we say together is Ish Yehudi, beautiful. Ish Yehudi, Haya Beshushan Habira, Ushmo Mordechai, Ben Yair, Ben Shimei, Ben Kish, Ish Yemini. There was a Jew in the city of Shushan. What, there was only one Jew in Shushan? There were no more Jewish people in Shushan? But there was one Jew who did not bow down. As the Pasuk says later, Mordechai lo yichra velo ishtahave. Mordechai will not bow down. Mordechai will not make any concessions to Haman. The entire city were bowing down to Haman, including, unfortunately, the Jewish people. The only exception, Mordechai. Now, where does Mordechai takes this zechut, or this power, of not bowing down to Haman? Short answer, the Pasuk tells us the background of Mordechai Tzaddik. Ish Yehudi haya b'Shushan habira, ushmo Mordechai, ben Yair, ben Shimei, ben Kish, ish Yemini. The Pasuk gives us 5 different descriptions about Mordechai HaSaddik. Let's start. Yemini. What's the meaning of the word Yemini? Binyamin. Mordechai was from Shevet Binyamin. Ben Shimei. Who was Shimei? Shimei ben Gera. Who is Kish? Shaul ben Kish, Shaul HaMelech. So basically, the Pasuk, and this is only one explanation, there are other opinions who say that Mordechai had 2 backgrounds, Yehuda and Binyamin. But because he was a descendant of Yaakov and Rachel and Leah, so to speak, he was Binyamin and Yehuda. But by the way, Binyamin and Yehuda are connected. Yehuda is the area of the Bet HaMikdash, and Binyamin is the city of Jerusalem. So there is a direct relationship between Binyamin and Yehuda. So the Zohar asks, how Mordechai, or where does Mordechai gets this power of not bowing down to Haman? Short answer, from Binyamin. The Zohar Kadosh, and you don't have to go to the Zohar, go to the Perashah. When Yaakov Avinu is meeting Esav in Perashah Vayishlach, the Pasuk tells us that Yaakov Avinu went to Esav, and everyone bowed down to Esav, including his wife and children. But not Binyamin. Binyamin was not in the world yet. So Binyamin was not affected by the bowing down of Yaakov Avinu. Which upon this, the Zohar asks, how is it possible to think that Yaakov Avinu is going to bow down to Esav? The Zohar says that Yaakov Avinu was not bowing down to Esav. Yaakov Avinu was bowing down to HaKadosh Baruch Hu because he felt the presence of Hashem standing behind Esav. That's what the Zohar Kadosh says. But the Zohar Kadosh and the Mefarshim says that the zechut of Binyamin not bowing down to Esav, Mordechai as Sadiq has the power not to bow down to Haman. Which, if you think for a moment, Haman and Mordechai were distant relatives. How? Let's go. Yaakov and Esav are brothers. From Yaakov comes Binyamin. From Esav comes Eliphaz. From Binyamin, his children, 10 boys. From Eliphaz comes Amalek. Couple of generations later, from Amalek comes Agag. Agag was the Amalek king that Shaul unfortunately lost the kingdom for failing to execute this king. So fast forward, History Channel, comes Haman and come Mordechai. So Mordechai, in a way, finishes the tikkun of his great-grandfather Shaul, and Haman pays the price for Shaul not executing Agag a couple of years earlier. We need to understand one thing. Chronologically speaking, the time of Shaul HaMelech, that because of this he loses the kingdom to King David eventually, happened at least 50 to 60 years prior to the building of the first Bet HaMikdash. Then comes the building of the first temple by Shlomo HaMelech. Then comes the destruction of the first temple by Nebuchadnezzar. Then we have Galut Babel for 70 years. And only then we have the miracle of Purim. So if you put all these numbers together, so we're talking about, we have between 550 to 600 years between the time that Shaul loses the kingdom by failing to kill the great-grandfather of Haman. So what do you understand? That if Shaul would have taken care of Agag, who knows how the history would have been to Am Israel. But obviously, the lesson of Purim is not just the celebration of Purim only, reminding us the miracle. The message of Purim is an eternal message that we have in our daily life. What does it mean? When the Pasuk says, Mordechai does not bow down, you remember 9/11, the unfortunate tragedy, that till today we are, stressed and sad about it and paying the price in many levels. President Bush, the son, what did he say? We don't negotiate with terrorists. Either you are with us or you are against us. Which, by the way, I believe that this is today American policy and Israel policy. I hope that I'm right. In a way, what Mordechai did was exactly the same. ומרדכי לא יכרע ולא ישתחווה. Haman was so embarrassed that Mordechai was not bowing down to him. So what does he say to Mordechai? Mordechai, I'm going to drop something on the floor and make believe that you picking it up, and I will consider like you bow down to me. Why? Because Haman couldn't stand the fact that the entire city is bowing down to him, and one rabbi, Mordechai, does not. But from this pasuk, our rabbis teach us that a person, a Yehudi, cannot negotiate with terrorism. But I'm not talking about, God forbid, physical terrorism or the way we understand. It means the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara is a terrorist in a way. Has a lot of different names. But what does he want to do? He wants to destroy our spirit. He wants to bring our defense mechanism down. And therefore the Megillah teaches us, don't move. Don't move. In other words, move, but make sure that you are in the proper track. And Baruch Hashem, the Megillah brings later on a pasuk that says, La Yehudim hayeta ora besimcha besason bikar. But what prompted truly the threat of Haman against the Jewish people? So many people say, because we participated in the feast of Ahashverosh. Now, we know the answer. What really happened in that feast? We discussed this in the years past, but we need to warm up to Purim. So I'm going to start saying a couple of things. Ahashverosh was celebrating, in a way, not only the destruction of the temple, but an unfulfilled prophecy that Bnei Israel will go back to the land of Israel to build the second Beit HaMikdash. And he utilized the proper tools that can destroy the life of a Jew. Mingling with Goyim. Mingling with Goyim. Even though that according to some opinions, the food that he offered may have been kosher, and the wine was kosher, but the environment wasn't kosher. The other day, a kosher restaurant complained to some of the rabbis why the supervision is planning to remove the supervision from the restaurant. Not because of kashrut violations, but because the environment that this place creates. Playing inappropriate music videos, playing music that is beyond the normal way of life. So when you're talking about kosher food, for example, it's not only kosher food in a restaurant. It's a package. It's a suitable. I remember many years ago, we met with an owner of the store, training him how the waitresses needed to be dressed in a kosher restaurant. Because it wasn't a dignified way for a kosher. Imagine yourself, you go eat to a kosher restaurant, and then you come back with your mind completely changed or crooked, so to speak. So to make a long story short, Rabbi Chaim Palachi writes, and it says that the Kedusha of Mordechai and the greatness of Mordechai is established in the actions of Binyamin. How many years between Mordechai and Binyamin? Over 1,000 years. And guess what? Still that hashpa'ah continues. Same thing with our life. We do mitzvot, ma'asim tovim, chesed, tefillah, amen, breakfast, sa'udot, Torah learning. Who are we doing it for? Besides ourselves. For the future generations. How do we survive? In the zechut of the previous generations. So it's a recycling system. One generation to the other. On a different note, Binyamin was called Yedid Hashem, the beloved of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why was he called beloved? Short answer, because Binyamin was not involved in the cell of Yosef Tzaddik. He was not born. But Borei Olam loves the people who are not involved in mahloket. Because the presence of mahloket, arguments, fighting, bickering among people, it sends away godliness. And this is, in a way, the Zohar of today. But before we go to the Zohar, I'd like to share with the Kahal one pasuk or two pesukim from today's perashah. We know Perashat Pekudeh is the perashah, the reckoning of the work of the Mishkan. Everything that was donated to the Mishkan, everything that needed to be done was accounted for. And then the pasuk says, the way Hashem commanded to Moshe, so did the Jewish people the building of the Mishkan. Bayar Moshe et kol hamelacha. Moshe saw whatever they did. Beinei asu ota, and Bnei Israel did it. Kaasher tziva Hashem ken asu. Baybarech otam Moshe. Moshe was very pleased with the actions of Am Israel. Make believe that, you're going to build a home, or you're going to build the floor in the shul, or a mikveh, or a school. You need to have a set of plans. Then the inspector comes and checks that the plans make sense to whatever you want to do. Means of egress, life safety issues, fire sprinklers, emergency exits, per the amount of footage of the area, etc. So that's the issue that we're dealing with now for the new expansion for the shul. Be'ezat Hashem, life safety issues. So we understand that we have a meeting with a fire marshal, which it happened earlier in the week. And now it comes the moment of the construction. Before they give you a certificate of occupancy or they approve your permit, what they need to do, they need to make sure that we did exactly what the blueprint did. And after matches, then the inspector signs. Hamavdil ben Kodesh lehol. This is what happened in this parasha. Moshe sees that Bnei Israel did not detour 1 millimeter from whatever Borei Olam requested from them. And the pasuk says, Vaybarechotam Moshe. Moshe blessed them. What beracha did Moshe give? Amar lahem, listen to this Rashi, beautiful. Yeirason, may it be the will, shetishre shechina b'maaseh yedechem, that may God dwell in the actions of your hands. What does it mean? That whatever you do should be crowned with success. As David HaMelech writes in the book of Tehillim, Hashem silecha al yad yeminecha. Hashem is your shadow. Whatever we do, we have the potential of having God involved in this matter. And comes Rashi and he brings one of the most beautiful and famous pesukim from the book of Tehillim that say, chapter 90, Tefillah le Moshe Isha Elokim. The pasuk says, Bihinoam Hashem Elokenu alenu, umaaseh yadenu konena alenu, umaaseh yadenu konenehu. What does this pasuk means in plain English? May it be the pleasantness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu dwell in your action. Let's say that you are a contractor and the owner tells you, do what you feel it's nice. Neutral colors, Florida style, match the kitchen with the floor, with the paint, with the shades, and then you are the owner, you pay for the services, and the contract, do you like your house? The paint doesn't talk to me. I would have picked a lighter color. How will you feel? Unhappy. Or imagine yourself, you come in, wow, my dream home. I feel happy. That's exactly the meaning of this pasuk Vihinoam. Moshe Rabbeinu says, ladies and gentlemen, everybody donated, everybody participated, everybody worked with the hands, with the feet, with the brain. People gave from the heart, people gave from the lev. Now we need one component. It's like you invent a machine, and now you want to try it. You plug it in, beautiful. You plug it in, it doesn't work. Our rabbis, from this line of the Tehillim, from today's Perashah, establish a magnificent tradition that many people do on a regular basis, which is saying Bihinoam prior to performing a mitzvah or prior to praying. Can you have the Siddur, please? Thank you so much. Before you put on tefillin, Bihinoam. Before shaharit, Bihinoam. Before minha, Arvit, Bihinoam. Before minha, one more time. Bihinoam. Before every prayer, we are saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, dear God, I'm going to pray now. I hope that my prayer finds, grace in your eyes. Not only that, I said in the earlier class that there is even a prayer before a person takes a medicine. The pasuk says, "Refa'eni Hashem nerafeh, ki rofeh hinam ata." God, heal me, and I will be healed because you are the doctor who serves mankind for free. No insurance, no co-payment, no deductible, mafi. All these words are part of our vocabulary today, right? Borei Olam. Now, many of us may not remember this by heart, but you can say it in English. Hashem, help me that this medicine heals me. Simple. I meet people during the day, and not all the times. The meetings are of happy nature. Sure, planning bar mitzvah, planning a wedding, planning a pidyon ben, planning a lecture, all these are happy types of meetings. But unfortunately, sometimes the meetings are unhappy. If it's a shalom bayit issue between husband and wife, or a financial dispute, has shalom among people, or clashes in the personality of some individuals. Shabbat shalom, thank you so much. Okay? You know what I do before I enter into this meeting? I make a personal prayer. I say, Borei Olam, help me to achieve closure. Help me to find a solution. Why? Because if we don't have siyata dishmaya in whatever we do, how are we going to be able to become successful? And when I mean successful here, I don't mean financially speaking. I'm talking about to be able to achieve your goal in a proper fashion, in a proper way. Sometimes when people try to settle, it becomes worse. Right? It becomes worse. So we need to make sure that we say the right thing, like in marriage. You have many different ways to say many different things. And the tone, is this what you do? Wow, you did all this? You understand? One is a complaint, one is a compliment. Almost they said the same thing. Different tune, different music, different word. I see everybody's nodding their head, so I think that we are on the same boat. I thought it was only me. Okay. This cup has been around with me since 6 in the morning today. I refilled it already, not to worry. Still warm. Baruch Hashem. The doctor said I must keep my vocal cords hydrated. Anyways, let's continue. So guess what? Anytime you're going to do something, pray. In your language. You don't have to say a whole Megillah. Borei Olam, I'm going to meet a customer. Help me to be successful. Borei Olam, I'm going to see a doctor. Help me to hear good news. Borei Olam, I'm going to try to solve a dispute between two people. Help me. And guess what? The more we train ourselves to do this, the faster you will see godliness in your life. Godliness includes miracles. I see miracles every day. Some of them very big, some of them small, but guess what? The more we look for them, the more we will find them. That's how a Yehudi things. And that's the blessing that Moshe Rabbeinu gives us in today's parasha. Baruch Hashem. Hashlech al Hashem Yehovcha vehu yechalkeleka. The pasuk says in the book of Tehillim, which in English means, cast upon God your burden and He will provide for you. And that's what Yeshaya Navi says. Karata vaya'aneni. Call me and I will answer you. You know, sometimes you call people, right? And it goes to voicemail. Or they don't have a voicemail set up. Or it rings and nobody picks up. So Borei Olam is not so. Borei Olam doesn't have call forwarding, doesn't have call waiting, doesn't have voicemail set up. Yes, hello, yes, Borei Olam, I need a miracle. I'm meeting Moshe and Esther, and they're killing each other. They're about to get divorced. Okay, Yosef, no problem. I'll put the right words in your mind and work on them. And B'ezrat Hashem, I hold your hands. And that's what I said before. On the Ben Ish Hai is quoting the pasuk of David HaMelech, Hashem silecha al yad yaminecha. Borei Olam is holding our hands. We just need to make sure that we don't let go of that. Now, yesterday, we were talking about the vidui, correct? Remember we mentioned about the vidui yesterday, right? We mentioned about the vidui. And we said, or Wednesday, I think, that we say the vidui very, very fast, okay? Very fast. That we really need to think, what's the purpose of the vidui? What's the benefit of the vidui? We should take our time. But interesting enough, and he reminded me before of this yesterday, that there are certain parts of the prayers that they are not happy with us. There are many parts of the prayers that they wish that we treat them differently. And you will agree with me. Number one, Aleinu Leshabeach. The longest tefillat derech. When many people say when they're running away from the knis, I think they misunderstood the halacha. The halacha says, run into the knis and walk slow out of the knis. Okay? But unfortunately, some people are in a rush. Maybe they run into the kolel, to the mikveh, to help the wife, to change the diapers at home. Maybe arif. Maybe they're needed at home, so we give the kav zechut. But Aleinu Leshabeach says, what, I'm chopped liver? I'm at the end of the book, at the end of Shaharit. People say it, walking out in the car, walking to the parking lot, etc. Anna, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, same thing. How can you do 22 thoughts of sins based on the Hebrew alphabet in less than 30 seconds? So God says to Aleinu Leshabeach, not to worry. Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, you'll be the start of the day. You're going to be in the middle of Musaf that no one can walk out. The Vidui Agadol, right? Vidui Agadol. Rabbeinu Nisim. Ashamnu. Achalnu Beli Beracha. 20 Averot under the letter Aleph. I wish people understand this Vidui, which here, between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, every day we learn one paragraph. And takes me almost half an hour to 40 minutes to explain to the Kahal thank you so much, every Avon related to the letter Aleph. Because we just say Ashamnu. But the long we do in Kippur, it gives us the list of all the sins with the letter Aleph. Achalnu beli beracha, achalnu beli netila, achalnu beli divrei Torah, achalnu beli zeh, achalnu lo kasher, all these averot. So Borei Olam says, not to worry, Kippur, nobody's in a rush. Everybody stays in the knis. So we say several times Vidui Agadol. Who else complained? Asher Yatzar. The blessing of Asher Yatzar. It says, God, I'm only remembered when people go to the bathroom. Imagine yourself, okay? Borei Olam says not to worry. Under the chuppah, we're going to say Asher Yasar. Hazao Baruch. Asher Yasar et Hadam besalmo beselem demo tabnito. This is one of the Shiva Berachot. How does it start? Asher Yasar. And it's in the middle of the Shiva Berachot, meaning to say no one is walking out. because they still have to listen to the berachot, and the hatan needs to break the glass under the chuppah, the way our tradition is. So it's important, to add a bit understanding and kavanah in the things that we say and do on a regular basis. The Zohar of today mentions how whatever we do in this world not only has a positive benefit to all of us, to every one of us, but also creates a mirror image in what happens in the heavens. I gave this class earlier today, but I'm going to give you the short version. Yeah, this is for the Rabbi. Thank you so much. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. What does it say? Shabbat Shalom. The Pasuk writes, Ki sheshet yamim, Hashem created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day Hashem rested. And the Torah says, 6 days you shall work, and the 7th day will be the day of Shabbat. The Zohar says the following: every day of the week, it carries a different sephirah. I give you the very short explanation. Sephirah means a different way that Hashem reveals himself into the world. How many sparks of godliness are there? 10 sephirot, 10 of them. 3 of them connected to the brain of the person. Chokhmah, Bina, Da'at. Rashi Tevot, Chabad. Wisdom, knowledge and understanding, all that is related to the brain. Then we have 7 more. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Nesach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut. Abraham, Ishak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aharon, Yosef, David. What they represent, I'm going to give you just 1 word per sephirah. During the 7 weeks of the Omer, we devote 1 week to each of these 7 words, because the counting of the Omer is based on sephirot. That's why it's called Sefirat HaOmer. Although Sefirat means counting, but Sephirah means the Sephirah. That's why if you look in some Siddurim, under each day of the Omer, they tell you Chesed Sheva Chesed, Gevura Sheva Chesed, Tiferet Sheva Chesed. So Chesed means kindness. Gevura means discipline. Tiferet means beauty or emet. Eternity is Moshe. Hod, splendor, Aharon. Yesod, the foundation of holiness of a man, the Berit Milah, Yosef HaSadik. And Malchut, the kingdom of David HaMelech. You know what the Zohar Kadosh says? That every day of the week, each one carries the star of the day. So Sunday, it's connected to Abraham. Monday, Ishak. Tuesday, Yaakov. Wednesday, Moshe. Thursday, Aharon. Friday, today, Yosef. And Shabbat, David HaMelech. Which Sephirah is David HaMelech? Malchut. What's the meaning of the word Malchut in English? Kingdom. Hazak Baruch. Kingdom. What does it mean? The kingdom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is revealed to us in the day of Shabbat. How? The way we dress, the way we eat, how many hours more we spend in the shul. We disconnect, as we said the other day. No machines. How many machines I have now? Recording, video live, two recording, wireless mic. And today we're in a different room, so we don't have the PA system. But we are surrounded by machine. Shabbat, I said goodbye to the machine, put them away, and guess what? I have a live connection, direct connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Zohar adds 1 more component. The Perashah writes, in the beginning of Perashah Vayakhel, that Moshe Rabbeinu gives the laws of Shabbat, and the Pasuk selects 1 mitzvah. Lo teba'aru esh bechol moshevotechem beyom HaShabbat. do not ignite the fire in any of your dwelling places during the Shabbat. And we ask a question based on the Zohar of today. Why fire? And why in fire we say, in any of your dwelling places? When the Torah talks about the mitzvah of tefillin, or going to the mikveh, or eating kasher, the Torah doesn't tell you, in all your dwelling places you must put on tefillin. Why in the mitzvah of Shabbat the word dwelling places is mentioned, and why specifically the fire? There are a few answers. One answer I gave you last week, that the Zohar and the Torah is teaching us that a person must avoid the fire of mahloket. Argument is dangerous. As we said the other day, "Hevevoreach min mahloket kevoreach min ha'esh." Run away from argument. Sometimes the other person is wrong, but nevertheless, you be the one to do what Hashem wants. He's wrong. We're not saying that he's right. But guess what? Be the better person. Be the bigger person. It's not easy. But guess what? Guaranteed in Shamayim, you're going to be the star of the day. Because you were mevater. You let it go. You don't inflate. You know what happens if you have fire and you take a fan and you say, I'm going to extinguish the fire. What did you do? You activated the fire more, like barbecue. Don't you see a guy who makes barbecue uses like a fan? So for what purpose? To keep the fire alive. So first, the Zohar, the Torah rather, is teaching us on Shabbat, any day of the week, but specifically on Shabbat, avoid anger and avoid argument. The Zohar goes a step further, and it says as follows: fire is connected to Midat Hadin, the heavenly judgment. And therefore the Zohar says, in the merit of Am Israel not igniting fires on Shabbat, we create a mirror image that the heavenly judgment in heaven on Shabbat goes on a recess. Yani we from Miami, or from wherever in the world some of our viewers are, we don't know where they're from, but I know that we have people from all over, Baruch Hashem, following this class. Whatever good deed and whatever observance of Shabbat we activate, we are sending a message to Shamayim, Borei Olam, today is Shabbat, leave those neshamot to have a break. Fascinating. But the Zohar finishes and it says as follows: great is the merit of Am Israel. As the Pasuk writes in Perashah Ki Tisa, Beni uben Bnei Israel ot hi le'olam. Between me and the Jewish people, the Shabbat is a covenant. Basically, it's a berit. How do we determine the behavior of a Jew? Part of the way is through Shomer Shabbat. Like I said before, let's say somebody's getting married. Who needs to sign the ketubah? Kosher witnesses. Who testifies of the ring under the chuppah? Kosher witnesses. What makes a witness kosher? A few answers. Number one, not related to the hatan or the kala, because relatives are not kosher witnesses. Number two, needs to be a good person. But among the criteria, what a good person means to be qualified to be a witness, needs to be Shomer Shabbat. Overall, needs to be a good person, a person of Shem Tov, not a criminal, not a gangster. Person could be Shomer Shabbat and cheats in business or schemes people. God forbid. We're talking about that a person has a wonderful behavior. But why specifically we make great emphasis on being Shomer Shabbat? Because Shomer Shabbat is a testimony that we believe that Hashem created the world in the 6 days and Hashem rested on the seventh. That's the reason why when it comes to Kiddush Friday night, we say Kiddush standing up. Farvus, Why standing up? Because we are giving a testimony. I believe that Hashem created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, Hashem rested. And therefore, the Code of Jewish Law says, you believe that Hashem created the world? How do I know that you believe? By seeing your behavior. If we observe Shabbat, our bonding and connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu is in the right track. As the Zohar HaKadosh of today finishes, Be'atem ad-devekim ba'Hashem Elokechem, Haim kullechem hayom. Those of us that are bonding, Devek means glue. I'm glued to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do you glue yourself to God? One of the main components is Shemirat Shabbat. Once a person has this concept in their mind clear, so the rest of the mitzvot will follow sooner or later. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but eventually will be coming. The Musar of today, is a bit long, but I'm going to give you the short version. The less we talk, the better. And I'm not talking about Torah class. It says, one of the ultimate benefits for the person, says the Musar, Shetikato shel Adam yafe midiburo. It is better to stay quiet than to speak. Why? Because when we speak, we make mistakes, especially if we're not sensitive about it. Now, doesn't mean that you should not talk. But as I said in the earlier part of the week, this is already a 4 or 5 day old topic. Think before we speak. And today we add, think before you text. It happened to me the other day. Somebody sent me a text without, how can I say this? Yani, you saw that the guy wasn't refined when he was writing a text to the rabbi. And I started to type, and then I erased the text. I said, I do this often. Not because I get upset, Haz v'shalom. I try not to get upset. I'm human, like all of you are. You human? Beautiful. So we all humans, right? So as humans, we have ma'alot and yeridot. Okay, we go up and down, etc. But, you know, even for proper office decorum, how many times they tell you, read the email twice before you press send. Because one, it arrived. Sometimes I get text messages I don't understand. So I send a message back. I don't understand. Yeah, sorry, I was dictating. You're saying something to the machine, to the cell phone, and whatever. And guess what? I've seen this, especially when I use sometimes English or Spanish keyboard, and I say something in English or Spanish and types whatever, and sometimes it types words that don't make any sense. So here it says, Shetikato shel Adam. The less we talk, in Spanish there is a statement that says, when the mouth is closed, the fly does not come in. En boca cerrada no entran moscas. That's how the Spanish goes. And that's part of what the Musar of today says. Not only that, it says here, the Musar of today, that how great can the person trains themselves not to talk, which obviously we need to be careful what I'm saying. There's a lot of ladies, I believe, that they received this class, or they may be watching this class. And now they may say, Rabbi, but hold on, I need a husband to talk to. For sure, the husband needs to talk to the wife. But even in the relationship between husband and wife, the husband needs to be sensitive when he speaks to his wife. And also the wife, dear ladies. The talking is not only the husband needs to be sensitive and the wife can hurt the husband's feelings. The opposite. We learned the other day that husband and wife in the Shalom Bayit class, that husband and wife need to complement each other and need to encourage one another, because that is what keeps us going. And guess what? Many times, a word of kindness, a word of recognition does much more than a gift. Because the gift is external. You went to the store, you picked up a bottle of perfume, you bought a nice purse, you gift wrap it, you gave it to your wife. I'm not telling you not to do that. Haz v'shalom. Relax, ladies, relax. Okay? The husband should do that. But according to our rabbis, in the topic of Shalom Bayit, conversation in a marriage are essential, but without using, a few weeks ago, I met a couple. Wonderful couple. And you know what is their biggest enemy? Their mouth. Their mouth. I told them, you have no problems. You have healthy, you have children, Baruch Hashem, you have parnasah. And parnasah was shaky and today is much better, Baruch Hashem. And I said to them, after each one exposed their case, I said, you have one issue in your relationship. What? The way you talk to each other. Yeah, my khaddame tells me the same. Yani my shikset tells me the same. The maid at home tells me the same. I said, so if your khaddame is already telling you that the way you talk to your husband or the way the husband talks to the wife is inappropriate, and we're not even talking about vulgarity, we're talking about you're good for nothing, what do you do all day, you only know how to spend money. All these comments in a marriage, condescending. Haz v'shalom. So I told them that I want them to work on one area and one area only. Complementing each other and not complaining and not whining and not bickering. And come back to me a few weeks. Let's see what happens. They came back. And both of them recognize how something so basic and so simple changed their life. The husband told me the day that he started changing, doors opened up. The wife tells me the days that she started to change, in other words, encouraging the husband, lifting the spirit of the husband, not putting the husband down, she feels better. She has less anxiety. She feels more comfortable. She's going out with her husband. I said to them, you see, you had the solution in your hands. Now that you know it, make sure that it keeps. So I told them that I'm going to give them a maintenance plan to make sure that every 2 weeks, I want to hear a report. We do this after hours. Baruch Hashem. And guess what? We do it. Why? First of all, we want every one of the kahal to have the best life in their home. Number one. And number two, I'd rather work on Shalom Bayit than helping people getting divorced. Because many, many times, people in the moment of anger, people in the moment of desperation says, you know what? I find another one. Rohi, what do you think? Finding a husband or finding a wife, second round, is easier than first round? Everybody comes with a package. Be'ezat Hashem, Hashem should help us in the merit of Rosh Chodesh Adar Bet, Zechut of Binyamin, Mordechai, Esther, and Vihinoam that we discussed earlier today. Hashem should really bring us the ultimate salvation even before the celebration of Purim. And everybody in their home can have their own Purim. Purim is the reverse. We just need to open up our eyes and do what's right and appropriate for in our relationship with God, in our relationship with our friends, but especially in our relationships at home. Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov to everyone. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hanani